He had a camera with him during our trip through the bush, and he had pictures recorded of us and the guide carrying parcels walking through the forest. And he sent this picture to this while painting pictures. And as I say, it very much resembled an oil painting because it was in color. That's the first I have heard of the TV. I remember this was in 1932. Another marvel is a small recording machine, something like our modern tape recorders, but it had no moving parts. It had no tape or anything else. It simply recorded and would play back the recording at a push of a button, just exactly like our tape recorders. But it would record for an hour or so and play back, as I said, what was recorded, without the use of tape or any moving parts whatever. There was no motor in it. Many of these ideas had been conceived by Tesla many years before, but he did not have the opportunity to develop them. And here at Stanford, there was a beautiful place, a magnificent place, a beautiful workshop which had been constructed by Major Sanford, well equipped with almost everything you could think of. Another fearful, fantastic idea which Tesla developed at Stanford was his dark idea. This would also prevent war. But would it? I believe that it could also be used to make war, because the equipment could be carried in an airplane and it would float over a city and put it to dark. Not a bit of light anywhere would show. This is, to me, a most fearful idea. You turn on the switch and everything goes dark. There would be no electric lights, no lights in your car. The headlights would not show. You could strike a match. It would burn, but it would not show any light. No form of light whatever, instantly, the moment the switch is closed. So then, Tesla said that if the war started and the switch was turned on, the war would not be able to continue because nobody would be able to see. I wonder what it would be. I wonder if it will ever be used. Can you imagine what would happen in a big city, say at noontime? Suddenly, not a pick of light anywhere. The sun would suddenly die out. Headlights of cars would not turn on, and so it would be a terrible mess. And this apparatus, according to Tesla, could be put to work and control the whole nation, either a city or a village, a town, or the whole nation, all of America, all of Canada, at the press of a button. Is it a good idea? I really don't know. Apart from the very big things used all over the world, inventions of Tesla, there are a number of little things, very important little things. For instance, the ignition system, which I believe is used in almost every car in the world. It was invented by Tesla many years ago, but certainly all the cars that I can think of use the same identical ignition system which was invented by Tesla at the beginning of the century. And no one has been able to find a better system. The speedometer, which is also used in almost every car in the world, also invented by Tesla. So was the ship's log. Most ships in the world use the Tesla log. The hydro system, that is to say, the method for driving generators to produce electricity from the waterfalls, was one of the great inventions of Tesla. The first power plant in the entire world was Niagara Falls, which was built by the Westinghouse Company in 1895. It's one of the few things which had Tesla's name on it up to recent years. Tesla also developed a number of ideas for helping overcome pain in the human being, such as sciatica, rheumatism, and all kinds of things like that. And he uses a small electrical vibrator. Another one of his great inventions was the electric car. He built the first one in 1897, and he drove from New York City to Buffalo, New York. And it had an average speed of 94 miles an hour. This car, if it was built today, would cost 1 cent a mile to operate. And it would cost practically nothing for repairs, because apart from the mechanical parts, that is to say the wheels and the steering apparatus, whatever, those are the only moving parts, the engine in this electric car is a small alternating current motor, which runs at a tremendous speed of 30,000 RPM. And this is reduced to 1800 by means of a fluid transmission, also the invention of Tesla. The whole electric car is a magnificent piece of work, and it could be put in use today and save the public hundreds and billions of dollars now wasted in gasoline and oil and spare parts. I could give a few details about this electric car. You see, it does not use a storage battery. It uses a special primary battery. And if you know anything about primary batteries, you know that the only part of a primary battery which fails is the negative plate. In these little dry cells you use for your flashlight, for instance, it's the zinc which gives way. And when that gives way, the battery goes dead. Well, now, Tesla invented a completely new kind of primary battery. And in this primary battery, if the negative plate wears out, it can be replaced even by a child in a few seconds. And the battery, when installed in this electric car, will run that car 500 miles before the battery needs to be attended to. And when the battery does need to be attended to, it will take you 10 minutes to remedy whatever is going wrong. And the spare parts are all in the trunk. You have enough spare plans to keep that battery running 12 months of the year. You do not have to stop at the service station. You could run 500 miles, for instance, at 74 miles per hour, if you were allowed to do it, of course. But you could run this car, say, 50 or 60 miles an hour, right across the country, and probably not have to stop more than 15 minutes to attend to the battery. Well, sometime in the future, somebody will, no doubt, build this Tesla electric car. Perhaps it could be when we have no more fuel oil or gasoline. I don't know how long the present oil supply will last. It certainly will not last forever. So we will have to have other means of transportation. Will it be by the Tesla electric car? If you have read my book, The Wall of Life, you will know the first part is the life story of Tesla. This story was written by Tesla himself. And you will note in this story that Tesla gives full credit to God for his ability to discover some amazing new ideas in the Bible. As I have mentioned before, the microwave comes from the 4th chapter of Revelation. In many places in his work, Kessler mentions the fact that he was inspired by Bible study to conceive his amazing ideas. His idea of the alternating current comes from the book of Mathews. In other words, from the Trinity. Kessler explains that his microwave, for instance, is not what many others think it is. It is not a wave. It is a dimension. The actual